What not to do after you complete your high ticket sales training program. Do not focus on landing a closing role if you are not qualified. If you have not met that $1 million in generated revenue, do not focus 100% of your time and efforts on trying to land a closing role. Yes, I know that you guys went through a sales training program. They basically stated or pitched and sold you on the idea that business owners will hire you as a closer after you complete their sales training program. But that's typically not the case. The odds are not in your favor. And so this goes back to like a previous lesson that, hey, putting your pride and ego aside, right? It's just recognizing that you are new, that you don't have the experience, you don't have the generated revenue to be onboarded as a closer. Again, I'm not saying you can't land a closing role. Like, I've seen it happen before. It does happen, but it's not frequent. Again, the odds are not in your favor. And so I see a lot of people coming into this space that went through a sales training program that have not met the $1 million in generated revenue, consistently just try to find a closing role. They're concentrating and focusing on a closing role. But again, we got to take into effect or consideration the time frame that most people will start to lose hope and feel completely discouraged. That's 3 weeks to 3 months. It's the time frame that most people will quit in the space. So again, it's about momentum, it's about wins. So if you are not qualified for a closing role according to industry standards, you haven't met that $1 million in generated revenue, why would you continue to focus on landing a closing role, knowing that you're getting ghosted, knowing that you're getting rejected almost immediately? Like, to me, it just makes more sense to find the path of least resistance. And I don't I want to be very careful how I say that. I'm not saying that it's easy. The path of least resistance is starting out as an SDR or an appointment setter, but even that path can be challenging. So of the two, where are you most likely going to get hired? 95% of the time, you're going to get hired as an SDR. 5% of the time, you might get lucky to, be that guy that lands a closing role. So again, it's about momentum and getting you wins, getting you paid like ASAP, because we know the mindset, it's going to start taking a toll. And so get your foot in the door through an SDR role, start making money, and then transition into the closing role within the next 3 to 6 to 9 months, whatever that looks like. It just depends on you, how you can perform, your ability to go out and crush it. And so I just don't want to see you guys spending all your time trying to land that closing role when 5% of the, 5% of the time, like, it's going to happen, but 95% of the time it's not gonna happen. And so to me, it just doesn't make sense to spend 100% of your time and efforts to landing that closing role, knowing that you're just kind of, you're going to be spinning your wheels, you're going to get shot down, you aren't going to see much luck or success, right? And so that's what I'm trying to, get you guys to understand, is that it's just part of the process. Entry-level sales experience will get you an entry-level sales job. So spend your time and efforts for what you are qualified for. That way we can just progress through the ranks, just like anything else, just like any other job, any other business, school, right? When it comes to, you got to start at the bottom and work your way up. You got to work your way up the ladder. So don't spend all your time looking for a closing role, especially if you don't meet industry requirements.